Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about an issue that has been on my mind recently, and that is live service games from the perspective of someone who is a completionist. The main game that I'm going to be talking about here is World of Warcraft, both the retail and the classic versions of the game. But I'm going to briefly talk about Guild Wars 2, and then also this idea is applicable to any other live service game as well, especially any MMORPG. But you also see this with a lot of other types of games as well, and right off the bat I want to say that this is not an argument against live service games. I love many different games which are live service games. I would not want any of these games to go away, and I don't want any future games to be cancelled just because they are live service. This is specifically talking about an issue with live service games when it comes to a very specific interest and personality. Some quick explanations for anyone who doesn't know. Live service games are any games that continuously get updates, like with MMOs that get massive expansions every 2 years and multiple smaller content releases in between expansions, or multiplayer games like Valorant, which gets a new map or playable agent every couple of months. The primary purpose of this is to keep adding content that people are interested in playing, so that they keep playing that game and give money to the company. There are a lot of people who don't like this model, and it can be predatory when done in specific ways, but overall, I don't have any issues with it in general. And completionists are people who like to play games in their entirety. On a basic level, it's people who like to play through the entire story of a game and complete all of the levels. On the next level, we see people who want to get all of the achievements in a game, which would involve completing the main story plus a bunch of other objectives. And then on the next level, we see people who want to experience every single part of a game and all of the mechanics in their entirety. There are a lot of people in each of these categories, and then there are people who are in between categories, and of course, people can feel one way towards one game, where they just want to complete all the achievements of that game, but also want to experience another game in its entirety. Based on these two definitions and what this video is about, you can see what the central problem is here, where when someone who wants to complete everything in a game is playing a game that is continuously increasing the amount of stuff that you need to complete, it can become draining for that individual. In order to feel like you have completed the game, you have to keep playing a lot in order to do so. Let's dive deep into World of Warcraft as an example. World of Warcraft is designed in a way that is similar to a treadmill. You constantly have new objectives being placed in front of you, there are new ways to make your character even more powerful, new places to explore, new stories to dive into, and new achievements to get. When you look at an individual expansion, it's kind of like a whole game in and of itself. There's a start, a middle, and an end with a bunch of stuff in between each part. But when you look at World of Warcraft year over year, that's a lot of games. Counting the original release of Vanilla and then 9 subsequent expansions, there are basically 10 whole games here, with the new expansion being released every 2 years, and with World of Warcraft probably not shutting down anytime soon, there will probably be many new expansions in the future. Looking at the perspective of a completionist who has started since Vanilla, that's a lot of new stuff to complete, and at what point do you call it good? What's your stopping point? When do you feel like you have completed the game? And well, for some players, there isn't. People keep playing the game, desperately trying to do everything, but they can't because there will always be new stuff. If they want to do everything that a WoW expansion has to offer every time a WoW expansion comes out, they're going to have to sacrifice some other parts of their life in order to do so. And that is obviously unhealthy. It's okay to sacrifice your time from other games if you really want to achieve everything in WoW. That's your option to do so, and it's your interest. Though I think something could be said about when it becomes obsessive, which is a whole other discussion that I'm not going to get into right now. But it's a bigger problem when you start sacrificing things in your real life for this video game, which I'm going to leave that idea as that, and we could talk more about that specifically in a future video if people are interested. And from my perspective, games like World of Warcraft aren't really meant to be completed. It's more of a sandbox adventure where you do what you want and you don't really try to do everything. At the time of making this video, I don't believe anyone currently has all the achievements in the game because a major update just came out. And right before the update, I believe there were only 4 people who had every achievement in the game. We don't really have an exact number of people who have ever played World of Warcraft, but if you go by the estimated number of 125 million, that means 0.00000032% of all players have gotten every achievement in the game, and if you go with the percentage as it is right now, that's 0%. That's insane. So from the point of achievements, it is definitely possible to get every single one in the game, but practically, it's impossible for most people. As such, most people will never be able to complete World of Warcraft if their idea of completionism is getting every achievement. Similarly, what if your idea is to complete the entire story? Well, the same idea is here. You might complete the story, but there's going to be new ones that you have to complete. So if your idea of completionism is to complete the story, well, you're always going to have to be playing in order to complete the whole game. And then this idea is the same for anyone who's a completionist, no matter how they feel satisfied with having completed a game. There's always going to be new stuff in WoW. So really, when do you feel satisfied with completing WoW? Well, in my opinion, you have to get over the idea of being a completionist. You need to find value in the game beyond feeling the urge to get every achievement, and you need to drop the game when you feel like you are satisfied, done playing, or it's becoming too big of an issue for you. I consider myself a completionist, and I am someone who has been struggling with this when it comes to World of Warcraft. I want to complete everything in the game, but at the same time, I really don't. It's a lot, and when it comes to the newer expansions, I'm just not interested in it. So when do I stop? Well, that's the answer that I've been trying to come to, and I think for me, I'll stop when I no longer feel any interest in playing the game. I'm getting to the point of no longer feeling any regret with WoW, where I don't feel FOMO anymore, and I don't always feel like I have to complete the game anymore. Where all my experiences over the years is good enough, and I can just play the game when I want to, without any worries for the future, and then drop it without feeling like I'm missing something. This is kind of where I'm at with the MMO Guild Wars 2. I would love to get every achievement and unlock every item in Guild Wars 2, but I'm never going to. I literally can't, because I can't get some limited time achievements or rewards. This used to be an issue for me a few years ago, but I got to the point where I'm over it, and I'm okay with not unlocking everything. I still enjoyed the game a lot, and I do still go for achievements and unlocks because I enjoy doing that, but I don't feel pressured to in order to feel satisfied with the game. My main goals for completing Guild Wars 2 is to complete any new story and maps I release while also unlocking all of the masteries. Everything else is bonus fun for me, but I feel satisfied as far as completing the game goes once I do those 3 things with each release. And then one day, I might not enjoy Guild Wars 2 anymore and I'll just drop the game, and I won't worry about completing any new releases. But obviously, I don't see that happening anytime soon because I love Guild Wars 2 more now than I ever have in the past, and I don't see that changing in the immediate future. But going back to World of Warcraft, I feel another issue that is kind of unique to me, and that is wanting to document the entire game through multiple Let's Play series on YouTube. And while my goal with Let's Plays in this specific way is probably not unique to me, there probably aren't too many people interested in that, and well, when do I stop? This is something that I've been trying to figure out, and I still have some more thinking to do in the future. I would like to share all of the vanilla game and the first 2 expansions, but I also want to share future expansions as well. I just need to figure out what my stopping point is. I have another goal in World of Warcraft that I've been kind of working on, which is playing every spec in the game to level 20, 40, or 60 in Vanilla WoW, or 80 in Wrath of the Lich King, depending on how much I enjoy the spec. And once I complete all of the specs, I think I'll feel satisfied with the game. This whole idea of asking myself when will I feel satisfied with playing WoW is something that I've been thinking about a lot recently. Talking through it in this video has helped me compile my ideas and settle my thoughts, where I think the general idea for me is I need to get over the idea of wanting to quote-unquote complete World of Warcraft, and I'm going to call the game good when I'm done playing it. I may return every now and then just to experience the gameplay for a little bit and go on a nostalgia trip, but once I'm done, I'm probably never going to commit a lot of time to it. And well, when am I going to be done? That's for future me to decide that I'm done once I feel content with having experienced the game. A summary of this video is, live service games are always going to be updating games with new content, so if you're a completionist, you're going to want to stay away from live service games or go into it with an alternate mindset. If the game is becoming an issue for you mentally, or if you are losing parts of your life in order to keep up with the game, you may need to reevaluate your goals, and in extreme cases, seek professional help. I enjoy playing World of Warcraft, just like I enjoy playing other games, but one day I'll stop playing WoW, and when I stop, I need to make sure, mentally, that I don't feel like I am missing something. I think the idea of completionism is probably super weird to a lot of people who don't feel the interest or desire to 100% games, and I hope this video kind of helped you understand the perspective of a completionist playing live service games. And for everyone who watched this video, thank you. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you have any ideas or experiences you would like to share, please do so. I would love to read them, and I'm sure other people would as well. Take good care of yourselves.